All right, so I recently got Kali Nethunter installed onto a OnePlus 7 Pro. I've installed it on the T-Mobile version and the factory unlocked version. The directions are basically the same for both. Recently got it installed and I had a lot of trouble doing it. I was not able to find good directions online. The directions from Kali, let's see. Because, you know, the OnePlus 7 Pro is supposed to be their recommended device right now. That's why it's one of only 3 devices that they actually have walkthroughs for installing their software onto. These directions right here, I'm going to have to assume that it's my fault, that it's something I'm doing wrong, but I cannot get these to work. Not possible. Tried for a month. 3 different devices, couldn't get it to work. So if someone has been able to get this to work recently, today is March 9th, 2022, I would love to hear what I did wrong because I ripped my hair out trying to get this to work. But I did find a way to get it to work, obviously, like I said. And that is really simple. It's less steps than this. Basically, it just involves installing Lineage OS onto the phone. And here, you know what? I brought this phone out to show you the steps, but I might as well show you that I've actually already got it installed onto here. Let's reboot this. So here we go. There's our bootloader notification. There's our boot animation for Kali. There we go. All right, so let's unlock it, and there we go. There's our Nethunter startup information. Oh, oops. There we go. All booted up, working. We can load up the terminal. Good to go. Here's Nethunter. Everything's booted. Oops. CH Root Manager. Yeah, everything's good. We're installed. So if you've got a OnePlus 7 Pro and you want to get Nethunter installed, you want it looking like this, all you got to do is follow these instructions. The only thing that the only prerequisites, I guess you could say, for this are that you've got a device that is unlocked or unlockable, or no, I would say already unlocked. I'm not going to walk you through that. There's tons of good directions online on how to do that. There's tons of good directions online on getting the drivers set up to work in fast boot and everything else, in the bootloader mode and all that crap. That's very well covered. There's dozens and dozens of videos there. So all I'm requiring you to know how to do, or to have done, to follow these instructions, are to have your phone unlocked and to have the bootloader unlocked. That's it. And if you have trouble doing that, literally just Google OnePlus 7 Pro unlock bootloader, or unlock the SIM or whatever. Like, for example, the T-Mobile OnePlus 7 Pro that I got. It was technically unlocked, but when you go to give the fast boot unlock OEM, fast boot unlock, oh man, whatever that command is, it gives you a command that you're missing the unlock token, and you basically have to extract the unlock code from the device, go to OnePlus's website. They've got a special page there where you put that information in, and a week later they send you the unlock token, and then you can unlock the bootloader. But anyways, I'm going off on a tangent here. As long as you've got the bootloader unlocked on your phone, you can follow these directions along just fine. So the first thing we're going to do is, as you can see here, we're doing Lineage OS. I think that's the way to do it. I've installed it on Oxygen OS and Lineage OS. Lineage OS seems to work better. So just Google Lineage OS, or I guess you can just go to lineageos.org. Gonna click there. We're gonna click download. I'm gonna try to do this all just like from scratch as best I can. Because I know when I'm following, oh, their site does this. I know when I'm following along, that helps me. So, or when I'm following directions on it. Okay. So once you click on the OnePlus and then 7 Pro, you're gonna be greeted with this. The only two files we care about are this one and this one. So let's go ahead and download this. Let's put it in our own special little folder. We'll just do OnePlus Kali install video. Save. That should be done by the time. Okay, almost. And then we're going to save this one in the same place. And just to give you a little background, what we're doing here, this is like the actual Lineage OS like operating system. This is the file to install that. This is the recovery image. This is, if you've been messing around with these phones for any period of time, you know that you've got to boot into the recovery mode of the phone, which is basically like a way of side-loading applications and doing different things onto the phone. It's one of the reasons that the OnePlus is such an easy device to work with. It's because it's so easy to get into the recovery mode and modify your recovery image. But this is a recovery program, I guess you could say, that Lineage OS has developed for installing their operating system. So anyways, we want both of those. Then we're going to click on Installation Instructions and Show Instructions. All right, so this basically starts out with, you know, how to enable USB debugging. You should be familiar with that. If you're not, again, just Google OnePlus 7 Pro USB debugging. But that's, I mean, as basic as it gets. You know, that's just clicking on your build about 7 times or whatever, and then enabling USB debugging. That's easy. Then unlocking the bootloader. Again, this should already be done. If it's not, they even tell you how to do it. Very easy. Oh, and here's that command I was looking for. Fast boot OEM unlock. That's the one that if you've got the T-Mobile version, you even if it's unlocked, you've got to get your unlock token before you can do this. But okay, where we're going to be starting is right here, because this device already has the bootloader unlocked. We're just going to be installing the Lineage recovery so we can install Lineage OS. So here's our device. I've got a USB-C to USB-A cord. I've got the USB-A side plugged into a USB 2.0 port that goes directly into the motherboard, aka the back of the computer, into my computer. So if we plug this in, thinking you maybe heard that Windows notification icon. There we go. We've already got USB debugging enabled and all that crap on this, but that actually doesn't matter. Because what we're going to do is we're going to reboot into the bootloader. And let me try to think the best way to do that here. You know what? Yeah, let's just do it exactly how they explain. So I'm going to open up. Oh, sorry. Before we get there, I imagine you've already got this if you've got the device, if you've got the bootloader unlocked. But one good way to get the ADB program is to just download what's called the 15-second ADB installer, I believe is what it's called. Yeah. So you just go there, scroll down, and get the latest one. Download. Put that in the places, all of our other stuff. All right, so now we've got that. Let's go to our downloads. It's still getting. Oh, the Lineage is still downloading. That's taking its sweet time. All right, well, I guess that works out then. So this you've got to unpack first. Here's one reason I don't like Windows 11. Such a dumb extra step. I'll unpack that, and then you just need to run this. And I always run this stuff as administrator. One little tip here, if you get an error when you install this program, all you need to do is go to your user, come on, where is it? Users folder, and you just need to manually add a desktop folder into here, and then run the installer again, and it'll work without a problem. It's a weird Windows glitch. I don't know why they haven't fixed that in the program, but whatever. Get that installed, and once you install that, you're going to have a folder in your root C drive called ADB. And it's going to look just like this when you open it. So let's do CMD. That opens the command prompt from this window with access to the files that are in here. And let's just follow this right along. ADB. Well, first thing we can do, whoops, looks like I already had one opened. So let's do that again. So it's just how it'll be for you. So CMD. All right, so let's do ADB devices. This will tell us if it sees the phone, if everything is working. There it is. That's what you should see. Not necessarily this will look the same. Actually, this will definitely look different, the numbers and letters you get here, but you should see something. If you don't see anything, your drivers are messed up, you don't have the drivers installed correctly. I imagine if when you right click and go into your device manager here, you're going to see something with a yellow triangle or an exclamation mark or something will be unhappy in here. And there's tons of resources online on how to fix that. But if you've unlocked your bootloader, you've probably already done that. So we know the device is there, so we're going to do ADB reboot bootloader. And you can see our device immediately restarts. And we're done. That's how quick it reboots into your bootloader. Okay, now it's going to have us do fast boot devices. And again, you want to see something like this. You want to see fast boot, and you want to see the serial number, I think is where that comes from, of your device. Isn't that right? Let me double check that. Yeah, that's the serial number. So there we go. So if you see this, we can go to the next step. All right, so all of our files finished. I'm going to come over to where they're downloaded. I don't need the 15-second one, but I'm going to take the recovery, which is the .img file. I'm going to Control C. I'm going to Control V that right into there. Okay. Then we're going to come back to our command window, and we are going to type fastboot flash boot. And then if you want, you can just manually type out this whole file name here. You can do that, or you can just click. Now, if you've got your Windows set up to show you file extensions for known file types, you will see the .img. If you don't have it set up, it's just going to show you the file name up to guacamole, and that'll be it. And if you've got it set up to show the file extensions, just click select the whole thing, Control Copy, come back over to here, right click, and see how it basically pastes whatever's in your clipboard. If yours is hiding extensions for known file types, then just manually type in the .img. It would have pasted in looking like this. Just type .img. Otherwise, just do it how I showed you. All right, now let's click enter. There we go, done. And as you see, the phone didn't do anything, but we have now just, what I imagine is you were starting out with a build of Oxygen OS with the standard recovery, or maybe even TWRP if you've been screwing around with it. We've now put in the Lineage OS recovery program in there. So that's done. We've done this, this. All right, now we're gonna, it says it wants us to do power the device off, hold down power, and volume down and power, which is basically it's telling us to boot into recovery mode. So we are going to unplug it. I'm going to hit the volume button until I get to power off. I'm going to turn it off. Let me just make sure my phone is still in the center here. There we go. All right. Now, on to the next step. Now, you only have to do this one time. Like it says, the steps only need to be run once per device. So, if this is like the third time you're doing this, you don't need to do this part again. But if it's the first time, it's a good idea too, so you don't break your device. We are going to download this file, like it says, from here. Click here to start download. And let's make sure this goes into our OnePlus. Same thing. It's all the files. Okay. And let's come back here. Okay, so. Oh yeah, I forgot. We also need to get into the recovery. So we're going to hold down, volume down, power on. Oh, I did that wrong. I did it wrong. I did it the reverse. Okay, I don't know why that worked. I think it's okay. Technically, what you're supposed to do is hold volume down and power, and then when you feel that little vibrate, when it starts to turn on, you let go of power and keep holding power down, volume down. That was just lucky. But yeah, just follow the directions. Hold volume down and power. When you see it start booting up, just release power, and it will take you into the recovery mode here. Now we are going to just do exactly what it says. We are going to do apply update, apply from ADB. Okay, then I'm going to take my cord. I'm going to plug it back in. The computer beep, bong, whatever. Now here's another place where I ran into a problem the first time I was doing this. The version of ADB that 15-second ADB installer gives you apparently is too outdated to sideload stuff to the phone. So that was a nice little issue to run into. What I'm going to do is include a link to an updated version of the ADB program. And the reason I don't just have you do the reason I still have you do the 15-second ADB installer is because, one, it installs drivers and gives you the ADB and fastboot software or programs. So that's why you need to do that. And the reason I don't just give you this new version and have you do it just from there is it doesn't give you fastboot. It just gives you ADB. So anyways, I'm going to give you a link to that. So when you get that downloaded, wherever you end up putting that on your computer, I would recommend just putting it in the root C drive. See, I've got it here as updated ADB. This is what it'll look like. Go ahead and close any other command windows you have open. We're going to go here. We're going to, oh, actually, hold on. First of all, let's go to our downloads. Copy partitions is the file we just downloaded. We're going to go back to the updated ADB, and we're going to paste that into there. Okay. Then we're going to come here. We're going to type CMD. Okay. And then we can do ADB devices to make sure it sees it. There it is. It knows it's in sideload mode. Okay, so we're going to do ADB, sideload, and then just space once, come over to here. Copy, right click, copy partitions, there you go. Then we are going to click enter. All right, it knows, it gives you a warning that it's going to do this. Basically, signature verification failed, install anyway, yes. It's going to go through and do its thing. don't close this. That would be bad. This should just finish pretty quickly, but let's just come back here. Our next step. And basically the next step is we're putting on Lineage OS. Then from there, we're just putting on Magisk. Then we're using Magisk to install Kali, and we're done. So just looking over at the phone, looks like it's still working. There it goes. Okay. Now, let's see. Now reboot to recovery by tapping advanced, then reboot to recovery. So we're going to go back. Advanced, reboot to recovery. Okay, now we're onto this step. So, because we're going to be sideloading this file, we can move that over right now. Let's go to our downloads. And that was the .zip. We're going to control copy. We're going to take that to our updated ADB folder. Paste it in there. Okay. Oh, and we're also probably, are we going to get the other package right now? Yeah, the Google. Okay. Another little caveat with Lineage OS is it doesn't come with the ability to install anything from the Google Play Store, which probably matters to a lot of people. So let's go ahead and get that downloaded too. So we're gonna, actually I'm gonna control click on that so it gives us a new tab. Then I'm gonna come down to here. We're installing on Android 11 under mobile. So let's mind the gaps. Or mind the G apps, I think maybe. So, you know, Google apps, haha, funny. First time I did this, I just didn't really look and I just downloaded the first one here, which did not work because that is for Android 10 and we are installing on Android 11. And we also need to make sure we get the ARM64 version, not just the ARM version. So this is the one you want. If you're doing this on a OnePlus 7 Pro and you're installing Lineage OS and you want to install Google Play Store, this is the one you want. So we're going to download. Click here to start download. Then we're going to right click, save link as, just to make sure that it goes into our special little folder here. Save, and we can just leave it there for now. Okay, let's go back to our instructions. All right, so now we are going to just follow along. So we've downloaded that already. We've downloaded the Google Apps. If you're not in recovery, reboot into recovery. We are. Now tap factory reset. Then format data / factory reset. Go ahead and let it do that. Return to the main menu. And we'll do that by clicking back. Sideload the Lineage OS zip package. So what we're going to do is, oh, sorry, I forgot I can't move these windows. So we've already put that in our updated ADB folder, so we're good to go there. So I'm going to come here again. I don't know if this is necessary, but this is what I do to make sure it works, and it's worked, so I keep doing it. I'm going to close any other command windows I have open. All right, then we're going to do the same thing when we sideloaded that other program over. We're going to do apply update, apply from ADB. Then we are going to open up a command window from here. And we are going to just follow along exactly what it says. ADB sideload, and we're going to come here. We're going to get this whole thing. Control C, right click, enter. Now mine, I remember if you read here, it says you can get this weird error when it's done. Every time I've installed this, I've received that error, so I would plan on it if I were you. Let me just come over here and read that. That text is really small. So right now it's just verifying update package. That's doing its thing. But yeah, you'll see the error. I'll show you when it comes up. Let's make sure this is still nice and centered. Okay, and one other bit of advice is try not to move your device when you're doing stuff like this, because if you have a cord with a short in it or anything like that, that would be bad. Here we go. All right, it's on step 1 of 2. This processes pretty quickly, especially considering it's installing a whole new operating system on the phone. Another thing, just while this is working, something I thought about while I was doing this before is, like, what if the power went out or something while I was doing this? And this whole system is on a UPS, an uninterruptible power supply. But man, that would suck. that would be the worst if you had done everything right. You hadn't made any mistakes, but a power outage or a system crash, caused you to like hard break your device. So I guess that's something else to let you know. That's why they give you these warnings. Like, that's why Lineage OS wouldn't even show you all the instructions until you clicked to basically agree that this is a big deal what you're doing. That if you're one of the people like me who read something like that and you're like, yeah, whatever, I'm going to follow the directions and I'm not going to screw around. Like, it should go exactly how it should. Well, it's not all about that. What if there's a power outage? Stuff can happen and you're going to lose your freaking phone. Okay, that's done. If we come back here, yeah, here we go. Failed to read command, no error. So it's like, yeah, it's like it's like the problem is that there is no error and that's confusing it or something. I don't know. But if you get this, that's totally fine. It installed. Okay, so now you are technically done, but you're not, because if you just install or reboot into the system right now, you cannot install the Google Play Store. So if we look here under optionally, if you want to install any add-ons, click Advanced. So that's going to mean go back. Then reboot to recovery. Then when your device reboots, click. Oh, I gotta wait for it to reboot. Click Apply Update, and then Apply from A to B. We're just another side load. So you should be pretty comfortable with doing this now. So Apply Update, Apply from A to B. And let's close that command window. Oops, didn't mean to open that one. This one. Let's go over to our downloads. We're going to get to mine the gaps that we downloaded. We're going to go back to our updated ADB folder. We're going to paste that in there. We're going to open up a new command window. Again, I don't know if this is necessary to open up a fresh one every single time. It's just what I've done and it's worked. So, okay. So it's just the same thing. Apply, update, apply, blah, blah, blah. Then we're just typing ADB sideload. That's gone. There we go. Right click, enter. Verifying update package. There it goes. Signature verification failed. It tells you that it's going to do that. Install anyway. Yes. And there it goes. All right. Now we're like 80% done. All right. And that's it. Blah, 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 blah. Once you have installed everything successfully, click the back arrow in the top of the screen, then reboot system now. Okay. Back. Reboot system now. And it should just load up into a nice fresh copy of Lineage OS. If you've been following along and your phone's been doing everything that mine's been doing, it will work, don't worry. I know this can be pretty anxiety inducing, especially if you've been having a lot of problems. But don't worry, this is pretty straightforward. So that's good. That's our boot sequence, boot animation, whatever, for Lineage. And then this first boot takes longer than normal. Usually you only get like 2 or 3 of those little circles to move across before it finishes booting, but this first time takes just a little bit longer. So we will let that go. All right, now while that's going, we might as well, oh, no, it's done. All right, so we're just going to set this up, skip. I'll go ahead and do that. Let me put my password in. All right. And connect. You need Wi-Fi. You actually technically could skip that, but you do need it connected to the internet at a later step. So you can connect it now or later, whatever. And I'm not gonna fast forward any of this. I want this all to be in real time so people can see the normal amount of time that stuff is supposed to take. So you don't copy. All right, I'm going to skip that. So now, see this right here? This would not be coming up if we didn't install the Google Play Store add-on. So if you didn't install that, you won't get this screen. But I'm just going to skip this for now. Skip. You can always go into it later and do it. I always turn these all off. Accept. Skip. Skip. Turn that off. Next. Skip. Start. And there we go. So I'm going to go to our settings, about, where's our build? Let's enable developer options. I'm doing this from the side of the phone, so it's a little tricky. I think turning that off is probably a good idea if you're going to be installing Kali, because future updates could mess it up. And then I like to turn that on. Wait for that to pop up, allow, and I like to turn that on. And then we're done there. Okay. So the next step is Magisk. So we are going to just do a Google for Magisk. You want to make sure you're going to the GitHub website. Scroll down to under downloads. We're going to click here. Scroll down, and the Magisk version. Right now it's 2.4.1. That could change. We're going to click on that. Make sure this is going into our special little folder so we know right where it is. And if you've used Magisk before, you're going, hold on a second, you need to get the APK and the .zip. But they've actually changed that with this latest version. They're both this one file, which might be confusing, but all they've done is they've made it so now when you need the zip, you just change the .apk to .zip. So what we're going to do is take this, we're going to copy it, we're going to go over to our updated ADB folder, we're going to paste it in here, and we're going to change this to .zip. There it goes. All right, and then we're going to come to our phone here. All right, we are going to reboot into recovery. So let's see. I guess we can just do it from here. What am I doing? Sorry, brain's not working. Command. And then let's see, ADB devices. There it is. Yeah, ADB reboot. Let's hold on a second. It's just hitting me that, you know what? Sorry. Cancel that. Don't do it that way. Just do it the way that we know works. Unplug. Power off. Make sure this is in the camera view. Okay. And we're going to do volume down, power, release power. Release volume down. Then we can plug it back in. Sure, that's it. All right, then we're going to apply update. We are going to apply from ADB. All right, let's just close any command windows. Command, and we are going to ADB, side load, and it is right click, enter. Oh, signature verification failed, and so anyway, yes. We knew that was going to come up. This is basically what we're doing right now is we're rooting the phone. And we also do Magisk to install Kali. So let this install. Flashing new boot image. And that's it. And we're just going to go back and reboot system now. Now this is the part that actually I can't remember. I can't remember if it does it the normal way, as in we're going to see a Magisk entry in our applications. Like the icon will look weird, but we'll at least see the entry. And when we click on it, it'll install the full version, or if we have to do that manually. But I'll find out. Sorry, I've just done this so many times, so many different ways, it starts to run together. You can see how fast that boots up. That's one of the things I love about Lineage. So, okay, give it a second. Pretty sure it should be popping up here. There we go. There it is. So we're going to click. So now we're on the internet. We're connected to Wi-Fi. Magisk. Upgrade to full Magisk. Okay. Let it do its thing. For security. Phone is not done installing on apps. That's normal. We knew it was going to do that. Settings. Allow. And then just click the back button. Install. All right, then we're going to open up Magisk. Requires additional setup. Okay. Just let it do its thing. It knows what it's doing, luckily. All right, now while that's loading, rebooting, whatever, we can come to Kali's website. Of course, we could have done this in the beginning too. Maybe I should have recommended that. Get Kali, mobile. What's going on? I don't want bare metal. Mobile. And OnePlus. We want the OnePlus 7 Pro. And again, this says it's for Oxygen OS 10, but whatever. We are going to download this. Let's put it in our special little folder. Save. All right, and then the phone's done. Let's redo that. And let's open up Magisk. And if we see here, it is installed. So we are actually rooted right now. If I go to here, no thanks, and I do, I think it's, what's it called? Root checker, I believe. Oops, APK, sorry, to make sure this is showing up. Root checker, oh, what's the one I like to use? Yeah, I think this website. Download APK, allow, download. There, it's done. Where is it? That one, Settings, allow, back, install. Open, agree, started. We should get our request for root access to open up. Oh, sorry. Once we click verify root. Grant, and there we go. We are rooted. You don't have to do that. That's just to show you guys. Actually, there's really no point in doing that. All right, Nethunter's done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to our download location for it. Here it is. I'm going to control copy. I'm going to come here. I'm going to put this in file transfer mode. We should now have an entry for our phone. Oh, sorry. Too fast. Yeah, sorry, I just clicked on that too fast. You shouldn't get any error there. Go in here, and I'm going to paste the Nethunter installation file into the phone. So right now, it's just copying it over to the phone's storage. And we can just close out of that while that goes. If you haven't used Lineage OS before, if you're not familiar with this skin or build or whatever of Android, I really liked it so far. The one downside, when I first installed it, I didn't realize that you had to install the Google Apps capability separately. So I didn't love that, but because I was using it for Kali, it wasn't that big of a deal. But seeing that you can even add that to it, it's what gives you the Google and Play Store. I mean, that's pretty nice. Okay, so our file is transferred. There it is. All right, so we're going to open up Magisk again. We are going to come to Modules. We're going to install from storage. I think if we just click the 3 lines and then OnePlus 7 Pro, that'll give us our base root directory here. Here's our file. Click that, and that's it. You're not done, but you've done all your steps, everything you need to do. The phone will now install Kali. Let's zoom in so you can see. Sorry, this tripod I'm using is a little weird. There we go. That's the familiar Kali text you should be used to. And yeah, it's just saying it's going through the install. All just like normal. And pretty soon we should get that. It can take 25 minutes. There it goes. Found Kali CH root to be installed. Kali fs-arm64-full.tar. Extracting Kali root fs. This may take up to 25 minutes. And it does take at least 20 minutes, or around 20 minutes, to finish installing. So, I said I wasn't going to fast forward anything. I might fast forward this. Because this can be kind of boring. Let's actually go ahead and, because that's where all the action is, let's make this a little bigger. There we go. Let me just move this up so the focus. And the screen is going to go to sleep. I'll try to keep it awake. I might forget. But man, I can't tell you the relief I felt when I was very first experimenting with this method and I got it to show this whole thing. I was just like ecstatic. Most of my experience was installing it onto the Nexus 5 and Nexus 7, and we can keep this down. Sorry, I just had that open because it lets me see the screen a little easier. Most of my experience was installing on the Nexus 5 and Nexus 7, and that process is pretty simple, actually. You can see I've got the Nexus root toolkit there. Anyone who's installed Kali on a Nexus device is very familiar with that program. And it's dead simple with that. I mean, the makers of that program did an awesome job. They handle everything from like all the software it needs. It downloads anything that it needs. If there's a break in the download, it's already set up to be able to let you put the file in yourself, you know, if like file locations or where they've saved files to, if that changes over time, which obviously it's going to. And it even handles all the driver installation. It tests that the drivers were installed correctly. Like it's a, you know, brain dead installation method. Brain dead, like you could be brain dead and do it. So that's what I was used to. So when I came to try it on here, onto the OnePlus 7, 7 Pro, excuse me, especially once I saw on the Kali website that they had the, sorry, I did that wrong. They had a specific walkthrough for the OnePlus 7. It was like, oh, this is going to be really easy. I mean, you literally just have to follow along what they've told you to do here. But if you're like me, I mean, I immediately ran into a problem with basically step one. This does not work. Like, first of all, oh my gosh, they've got you using this MSM download tool. Anyone who's been playing with these OnePlus 7 Pros knows, is very familiar with this. This program brought back, I probably had to use this at least 10 times to bring back a bricked device. And I had so much trouble getting this to work. Every single time I would try to use it, it would get stuck on param preload or something like that, I think is what it says. Could not get it to go beyond that and find out that that's a driver error. And that is what it is. If you're having an issue with that, you do not have the driver installed correctly. If that's where it's stopping every single time. And there's tons of resources online on how to fix that. But I updated my drivers and that finally started working. Then I was finally able to get it to, you know, do what they recommend here. But even with the drivers and everything fixed and this program working, the second you try to load the operating, the version of Oxygen OS that they give you in this folder, in this zip folder, it just doesn't work. It just immediately errors out. It says, sorry, you know, the device signature doesn't match or something like that. So like, okay, great. So that doesn't work. So you're screwed there. So, I mean, once step one doesn't work, you're like, okay, well, what the heck do I do then? Do I just do this from whatever version of Oxygen OS I have on the phone? Do I update it to the latest, which is going to be Android 11? Do I, or like one thing I did was on the T-Mobile phone, I put the international build on. And when you do that, it starts with Android version 9, and then it updates from 9 to 10, like 10 point something, and then from 10 point something to a newer version of 10. Then from that newer version of 10, it goes to 11. And I tried it on each one of those. I tried it on 9, both versions of 10, and 11. When I try it, I mean like the rest of the instructions. Oh, let's see what happened here. Oh, no, it's still working. Every one of them would brick, especially like, I'm pretty sure I mentioned that earlier. Once I tried this was the thing that screwed it up. I could get pretty close to this. Then when I would install this force encrypt thing, it would just kill it every single time. It would go from booting up to not booting up anymore. Or one time, I remember specifically what I did using one of their builds or something, one of the builds from here. I can't remember. Like the phone would start up, but oh, it's done. All right, so Kali Nethunter is now installed. Reboot. I'm gonna try leaving it zoomed in because I think maybe you guys had a hard time reading that text. Oh crap! Sorry, I took it off the phone. Whatever. It went and it said it finished. It finished and it gave me a button to reboot. That was my bad. I should have kept that up as a window and picture. But there we go. There's our Kali boot. Make sure this is centered. All right. Let's open this up. Now, right now, it hasn't actually really loaded it yet. The first thing you need to do is you need to come to the Nethunter store, which is not this one, it's this one. You need to make sure you're online, go to updates. It's going to tell you that everything's up to date, but that's not true. And if you have to, keep dragging it down to get it to reload, and you should see download update for one app, Nethunter, install, update, yeah, settings, back, install. Oh, this is what can happen if you install Play Store. Install anyways. Install. Same thing. Install anyways. There we go. So that's updated. That does remind me, though, it's not a bad idea to turn off that Play Protect, which you can do if you go into the Play Store. Even if you're not logged in, it doesn't matter. You can still click the three dots there. There we go. Settings. Oh, no, sorry. I think it's under Play Protect. There we go. And settings. There we go. And just turn these both off. And that shouldn't bug you anymore. Okay, then go to Nethunter. And we're going to, while using this app, allow. That's happened to mine before. That's normal. Open it again. There we go. Grant. Allow. Okay. Now, if we see, here we go, Kali's feature is not up or installed. That's the important one. That's why you can't really do anything with it yet. Click the three lines, chroot manager. There's one little bug I've noticed. This little pop-up won't go away. It does, but just click start right there. And there you go. It's good. So now, every time you restart the phone, it's going to do this automatically. It's going to start up everything that it needs to. Let's back up so we can see the whole screen. But if we click here now, we can see everything is running. And the most important thing is if we go to our terminal, where you're going to be doing most of your stuff with Kali. That's a one-time thing. Just grant that once. And that's it. So now we've got it. We're done. Kali is up and running. One thing that you can do if you want to give it a little more substantial build, because you are running on the minimal build right now, according to that message, is you can come back to Nethunter and then make sure you're in chroot manager and then add meta package. And don't do Kali Linux everything, because there's a lot of stuff that's just not compatible with Nethunter. The ones I typically select are top 10, tools wireless, and I'll do Linux default. Actually, I don't think that one's as important. I don't know. It's up to you. You can go to the Kali website, by clicking on this link, and you can read about what each one of these very specifically does, what it is, what it includes, and whatever. But so I've selected top 10 and tools wireless, install an update. It's going to open up a terminal window. And again, obviously you need to make sure you're online when you do this, and it's going to go through and run its update. And these can take a while to finish, depending on what you select, especially. Like if you selected everything, that would take, I don't even know how long. It would take a long time. And you can't just leave it alone, because there's different parts that come up and have to ask you questions. And if you leave it alone for too long, it'll just get screwed up. But yeah, you can see, this is the regular update process. It's pretty similar to running app to update, app to upgrade. So yeah, if you want, you can do this. At a minimum, I would open up a terminal and I would do an app update, app upgrade. But yeah, that's it. That's how you get Kali running on a OnePlus 7 Pro. If you have any questions, let me know. But if you follow along, it should just go right like that. The only place that you're going to have problems, I already know what the questions are going to be. It's going to be people who can't get the drivers figured out for doing the fast boot stuff. That's going to be where 99% of the issues are. That's where I ran into problems. But there are resources online on how to do that. And again, if you've got your device into, if you've unlocked your bootloader, you've already figured that out. So that's why I figured that's probably not worth covering here. This is specifically installing Kali. So there you go.